Have you ever thought about how fragile history is? How one tiny change, one different decision centuries ago, could create a world that is completely unrecognizable to us? Let's talk about that. History is not a straight line. It is a fractured mirror, and our world is built upon the ruins of Rome's colossal failure. In 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire didn't just fall. It broke the timeline. It shattered, and from those pieces, our modern world slowly, painfully pieced itself together. But what if it didn't? What if the light of Rome never went out? Imagine it. The year is 500 AD. The legions stand firm on the Rhine. The aqueducts of Gaul flow with fresh water. The great libraries in Britannia are not torched by invaders, but expanded. The chaos, the fragmentation, the centuries of lost knowledge we call the Dark Ages, they simply never happen. The flame of classical learning isn't just preserved, it's fanned into a roaring inferno. Roman engineering was already legendary. They had concrete that could set underwater, city-spanning water systems, and even primitive steam engines like Hero's Eolipile, which they mostly saw as a toy. But in a stable, ever-expanding empire, a toy becomes a tool becomes an engine. By 900 AD, there isn't a slow crawl out of darkness. There's a Roman industrial revolution. Think about it. Steam-powered cranes lifting marble for new colosseums, an empire-wide network of paved roads, now with steam carriages thundering along them, carrying goods from Persia to Spain in a matter of weeks. Ironclad triremes, powered by steam and piston, patrolling not just the Mediterranean, but the Atlantic. The world's first true technological superpower is born, centuries ahead of schedule. But who rules this technological marvel? Not a bickering, decadent emperor. That model failed. No, this new Rome is ruled by an iron senate. A perfectly efficient but terrifyingly authoritarian state. It's a meritocracy of the ruthless and the brilliant, engineers, generals, and logicians who see the empire as a grand machine to be optimized. Efficiency is the highest virtue. Society is a perfectly ordered grid. In this world, the very concepts that define us never have a chance to exist. The idea of France or England. Those are the names of Roman provinces, nothing more. They're born from the tribal kingdoms that rose from Rome's ashes. With Rome still standing, they are forever just territories. And what about the Magna Carta? The revolutionary idea that a ruler is subject to the law. In a state built on absolute authority and efficiency, that's not just laughable, it's treason. The entire Western tradition of individual rights, of the citizen pushing back against the state, it's a spark that is never lit. Now, picture this Roman superpower, armed with industrial might, turning its gaze to the rest of the world. When its iron ships reach the shores of the Americas, it's not a scattered, chaotic conquest by competing nations. It is a systematic, relentless assimilation. Roman legions armed with early firearms and steel artillery, marching in perfect formation against Aztec and Incan warriors. Roman roads cut through the Amazon. Roman governors rule from citadels in the Andes. And then they meet their match. On the other side of the world, another ancient, powerful civilization has been growing, the great dynasties of China. This becomes the planet's central conflict. Not capitalism versus communism, but two colossal ancient empires with fundamentally different philosophies locked in a centuries-long Cold War. A Cold War fought with spies, economic pressure, and proxy conflicts on the steppes of Asia and the islands of the Pacific. It's a bipolar world defined by the dragon and the eagle. But the most shocking implication isn't geopolitical. It's what happens inside our own heads. The very foundation of Western culture is erased. Think about Christianity. It exploded in the power vacuum and social turmoil of the late and post-Roman world. But in a stable, powerful, unbroken Rome that still holds to its pantheon and emperor worship, Christianity likely remains what it started as, a minor persecuted mystery cult from the East. The entire moral and ethical framework of our world is built on a different foundation. And here's the biggest one. The Renaissance and the Enlightenment, arguably the two most important movements in our history, would never happen. The Renaissance was a rebirth, a rediscovery of the classical knowledge that was lost after Rome fell. If the knowledge is never lost, there's nothing to rediscover. There's no sudden explosion of art and science. And the Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, skepticism, and individual liberty, it was a movement born from questioning the old authorities of kings and churches that rose from Rome's vacuum. In a world where Roman authority is absolute, unquestionable, and technologically enforced, that kind of questioning is stamped out before it can begin. Progress would be purely technological, not social or philosophical. So we're left with this incredible paradox. A world without a dark age. A world of magnificent, clean, orderly cities. A world of peace, the Pax Romana, enforced across the globe by an unstoppable technological force. But it's also a world without individuality, without democracy, without the art of Michelangelo, or the science of Newton. A world where humanity might have reached the stars by now, but without ever really understanding what it means to be free. But what do you think? Would an eternal Roman Empire have been a utopia of peace and progress, or a stagnant dystopia? Share your theories on this ultimate historical paradox in the comments below.